Halo 4 has finally made its way to PC, thus completing the Master Chief Collection. And with that comes my final tips and tricks video, at least until Halo Infinite. So no need to fluff the intro, let's just hop right in. So first and foremost, unlike basically every other Halo game, loadouts are extremely important in Halo 4. So basically the first thing we're going to do is go through all the different options you can pick from and kind of discuss the good ones and what scenarios they can be good in. Before we hop into all the different options in the loadouts, I should mention that if you are playing Precision Slayer in the Master Chief Collection in 4v4, that's actually going to throw you into the legendary settings, which are the competitive Halo 4 settings, and in those cases you just get a standardized loadout, so you don't have to worry about it there. But if you're playing Big Team Battle or you have Auto Slayer queued up, then it's going to throw you into Infinity Slayer, which is where you can use your custom loadouts and also have ordnances. First up is the primary weapons. In this category, you have the assault rifle, the battle rifle, the DMR, the carbine, the storm rifle, the light rifle, and the suppressor. Basically, when you're picking a primary weapon, unless you're kind of just wanting to mess around or have some fun, you're going to want to pick one of the precision weapons, which narrows this down to the battle rifle, the DMR, the carbine, and the light rifle. Now, out of those four, you can pretty much discount the carbine because it's just not as good as the other ones. And then from there, you can choose your primary weapon kind of based on the scenario that you're going to go into the game. One nice thing about Halo 4 is you can have multiple loadouts, so you can have a different loadout for each of the precision weapons, and also have a loadout or two maybe for some of the auto weapons if you want to play around with those. One nice thing about Halo 4 is honestly, regardless of what primary weapon you pick, you'll still be able to get kills. Some are clearly better than others, but I've had games even just running around with the suppressor, which is probably the worst weapon, and you can still get a decent amount of kills as long as you kind of know what you're doing. So which of the primary weapons do I suggest? Well, the battle rifle is going to be the all-around best choice. It's just the jack of all trades, and it's really strong in Halo 4 because the high projectile speed basically makes it hit scan, and unlike the battle rifle on launch in Halo 4, with the updated settings, it is a 4-shot. Next up is the DMR. The DMR is really good at longer ranges, and you can really melt your enemies with the DMR in Halo 4 since it doesn't have bloom like it does in Halo Reach, but in close range or mid-range scenarios, I still strongly prefer the battle rifle. The last option that I pick occasionally is the light rifle. Now this is going to be best at the longest of ranges, as you can scope in with it and it becomes really strong, as when you are scoped in with the light rifle, it is a single shot weapon, but if you are unscoped with it, it's actually a burst fire weapon. However, unfortunately, unlike the battle rifle, the burst fire on it is a 5-shot kill, which kind of makes it just best for long range engagements when you can scope into the gun. Next up, we have the secondary weapons, and in this section, you have the Magnum, the plasma pistol, and the bolt shot. Now here, there's two main options you're going to want to pick from. The bolt shot is best on smaller maps, or just anytime that you want a secondary that is for killing people. The bolt shot's basically just a mini shotgun. You charge it up a little bit, and then if they're close enough, it'll kill them in one shot. Now the other option that you can pick is the plasma pistol. This is going to be best in the BTB modes where there's vehicles, or some of the 4v4 games that have vehicles, just because you can use the plasma pistol to disable those vehicles. Just like the other Halo games, you can use the plasma pistol for the noob combo if you want to charge it up and then switch to your primary precision weapon and finish them off. But honestly, in most cases, I just find a bolt shot more useful for that. So the only time that I really pick the plasma pistol as my secondary is if I'm playing BTB and I want to be the person that really disables vehicles. Next up is grenades, and in here you have the frag grenade, the plasma grenade, and the pulse grenade. Honestly, the pulse grenade is not very good, so you're not going to want to pick that. So this just leaves the frag and plasma grenade, and sort of similar to the last section, it kind of just depends on what you're playing. I really like the frag grenades for free-for-alls, 4v4s, 2v2s, etc., but I will use the plasma grenade occasionally in BTB because you can stick vehicles with it. So next up is the armor abilities. In here we have Promethean Vision, which allows you to kind of see through walls. There's the thruster pack, which is just a kind of crappy thruster. There's the jetpack, which is a jetpack. A hologram, which works a lot like the Halo Reach hologram, where it just sends out a fake person. You can use the hologram to teabag people if you do it correctly, which is pretty funny. The hard light shield, which allows your Spartan to hold out a shield in front of them. Active camo, pretty self-explanatory. And auto sentry, which is terrible, don't ever pick this, but you're able to put a sentry down that will shoot your enemies, it just doesn't ever do any damage. And then the regeneration field, which is kind of like a toned down health regeneration from Halo 3. Out of these options, I really narrow it down to 3, and it kind of just depends on how you want to play. Promethean Vision is going to be your all-around best option, as this allows you to see through walls, see if people are camping, and just get a ton of information that will allow you to make plays. However, if you want a more defensive ability, the regeneration field can be very good, as it will allow you to heal your shields a lot quicker. Although one important thing to note is if you've played a lot of Halo 3, the regeneration field takes a lot longer to activate than the health regen, so you just have to keep that in mind. Lastly, the other armor ability that I kind of suggest is the jetpack, and that just allows you to get around maps differently if you like to do that, and also make some pretty cool plays where you fly up into the sky and then kill people. Alright, next up is the tactical packages that you can choose from. In here you have shielding, which is going to reduce the amount of time that it takes your shields to recharge, firepower, which allows you to carry 2 primary weapons instead of 1 primary and 1 secondary, mobility, which allows unlimited sprint, grenadier, which allows you to carry an extra grenade, resupply, which allows you to pick up grenades from dead bodies, requisition, which allows you to request new choices from the ordnance drop if you don't want any of the options, wheelman, which increases the long-term durability of player vehicles and also decreases the time that vehicles are immobilized by EMPs. Then there's AA efficiency, which increases the recharge rate for armor abilities that we just went over. And lastly, there's resistor, which makes it so that taking damage does not interrupt sprint. Basically, when picking your tactical package, you're going to want to pick one that fits your playstyle the best, but the ones that I would suggest, honestly, are just mobility, because it allows you to just sprint around the map all the time. Or sometimes I like to use requisition, as sometimes your RNG drops on the ordnances can be terrible, and this will allow you to hopefully get better weapons or power-ups from your ordnance drops. The rest of them are useful for various different things, and it kind of just depends on how you want to play, so kind of look at those and decide how you like to play as a player, and you can always swap them in and out. The last option that you have when you're creating your loadouts is the support upgrades. In here you have ammo, which is going to provide you extra ammo for your loadouts and your ordnance weapons, awareness, which allows you to use motion sensors while scoped, dexterity, which speeds up weapon reloads and weapon swapping, drop recon, which makes it so that ordnance drop locations appear on the HUD about 12 seconds before they actually drop, explosives, which makes the grenades have a larger blast radius and decreases grenade damage received from other players, gunner, which allows you to use mounted weapons longer before they overheat, and also increases user movement if you're carrying a detached weapon like a turret, nemesis, which marks the location of the last enemy Spartan who killed you on the HUD, ordnance priority, which decreases the number of points necessary to earn a ordnance drop, sensor, which increases the range of the motion sensor, stability, which reduces flinch, so when you're getting shot your crosshair is going to jump up less. Then there's stealth, which makes players' footsteps quieter, makes players harder to see on Promethean Vision, and increases assassination speed. Out of these, again, you're really going to want to examine how you like to play as a player and kind of play with them and see which one you like the most. But if I was going to suggest a couple for you, I think that stability is really important, because flinch is super annoying in Halo 4, and this is going to allow you, especially when you're scoped in and you're trying to kill someone long range, this will allow your crosshair to be a little bit more stable and allow you to finish off some of those more long range kills a little bit easier. Unlike other Halo games, Halo 4 does not have descope, so if you're getting shot at while you're scoped in, you're not going to get automatically descoped, and that's why the game has flinch. Not a big fan of that design decision, but that's for a different video. Another one that I think is pretty good is stealth, mostly just because it makes you harder to see on Promethean Vision, and a lot of people use Promethean Vision, so this will allow you to be a little bit more sneaky, and also just less likely that a player using Promethean Vision is going to know exactly where you are around the corner. Dexterity is also a decent option. It just allows you to reload faster, so if you're getting in a gunfight and you run out of bullets and you need to reload, it's going to make it a lot quicker, so it's not a bad support upgrade. I would say dexterity is kind of nice if you're going for like higher multi-kills, because it'll allow you to reload your gun a lot faster to kind of chain those kills together easier. And then lastly, this one isn't something that I personally use, but if you're someone that kind of struggles to get points and you want to get power weapons a little bit more often, then use ordnance priority, since it's going to decrease the points necessary by 20%. And hey, if you're struggling to get points, this can be pretty fun to get some power weapons occasionally. So that kind of sums up what you can pick from the different loadout selections, and then I just have a few more tips that I'll give you guys that are a little bit more generic and also apply a bit to other Halo games. The first one of these is map knowledge and control. Just like in any other Halo game or any first-person shooter, knowing the maps that you're playing on is really important, knowing where the power positions are on the map and trying to control those. An added feature of Halo is the fact that weapons spawn on the map. Halo 4 does not have power-ups that spawn on the map, and depending on if you're playing the legendary settings versus just regular Infinity Slayer, less weapons are going to spawn on the map, but regardless, knowing the maps you're playing on, knowing where some of the weapons do spawn on the map if you are playing the applicable game mode, etc., can really help you get the step up over your opponents. The next tip is just team shotting and positioning. Halo has a higher time to kill, so by utilizing your teammates and shooting the same enemies, you're going to kill people a heck of a lot faster than if you try and do everything by yourself. Unlike a game like Call of Duty where you can flank people and get 2 or 3 kills really quickly, Halo is not like that. You're going to have to put sustained fire on people, so having your teammates there to help you out and put shots on the same people will make it much easier to finish off kills. The next tip is strafing. When you're in a one-on-one gunfight, you're going to want to make sure that you're not just running straight at your enemies. You're going to want to do unpredictable movements, move side to side, maybe jump toward the end of the gunfight. Or one thing that's kind of nice in Halo 4, unlike Halo 2 and 3, is you can crouch strafe pretty easily because you can crouch when you're moving at full speed. So if you're having a BR fight with an enemy and each of you has put 3 shots out, maybe throw a crouch in to kind of throw off your enemy, and hopefully that'll allow you to get the kill. And the last tip is going to be, in Halo 4, it's a lot easier to shoot enemies out of vehicles. If you've been playing a lot of Halo 2 or 3, sometimes it can be really annoying to try and kill a gunner off of a Warthog or kill someone out of a Ghost, etc. But in Halo 4, especially with how the precision weapons work, and just the fact that the vehicles take a lot more damage from guns, you can shoot people out of vehicles pretty easily, especially if multiple of your teammates put fire on the same vehicle. Or at the very least, you can kind of just snipe people out of vehicles with something like the DMR or the light rifle. It's pretty easy to take a gunner off a Warthog using those weapons. And that pretty much sums up my beginner tips and tricks for Halo 4. I hope you guys enjoyed these tips and tricks. Go ahead and comment below any tips and tricks you have that I didn't cover, and just remember that these tips and tricks are mostly for either new players to Halo 4 or players returning to Halo 4 after not playing for a long time. These are not advanced tips, so if that's what you were looking for, I apologize. As always, if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do. If you want to catch me live, I stream over on Twitch, so you can come follow me over there, or you can follow me over on Twitter. And with that said, I'll see you all next time.